Hello, we are Chris Lee and Chase Robinson here to preview and predict UAB's road trip to Arkansas. The Hogs, 24-point favorites with an over-under. Chase, what was that, 58 and a half, making for a predicted final of 41-14 in Arkansas's favor. You can catch this game on the SEC Network, 3:15 Central. Before we dive into the predictions and our preview of this game, this one's brought to you by BetOnline. Chase, tell the folks a little bit about BetOnline, if you would, please.
Yeah, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. If you think you know your stuff, you can get in on a $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, you can head over to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker or one of the over 150 slots games. Head over to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here.
Disappointing games for both programs last time out in different ways. Arkansas just statistically dominated Oklahoma State in Stillwater, but lost the game based on just a litany of mistakes. As for UAB, my goodness, when you were blown out by UL-Monroe, by the guy that you could have hired instead of Trent Dilfer, I don't think it gets a lot lower than that. Monroe, typically a bottom 5, bottom 10 program in the FCS, or excuse me, the FBS. Seems like a mismatch on paper, especially with the way Arkansas has moved the ball. I think Arkansas number 2 in the country, maybe in total offense, over 600 yards, both games. That includes, you lost, 10 minutes of the Pine Bluff game in which Arkansas scored a touchdown on all 10 possessions. Look, the disappointment of the loss aside, this team has got an offensive identity. Bobby Petrino was hired to completely turn around this offense, and boy, has he done that with Taylen Green, Landon Jackson. The Arkansas offense is just so far, and maybe it's not the teams they're going to play later, but it's looked like a juggernaut so far, Chase.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see. It's like night and day from last year to this year offensively, and credit that to Bobby Petrino. They've brought in some great players. You mentioned Taylen Green, and just watching them run the ball the other day in that Oklahoma State game in the first half was really impressed with them. I like what they've done offensively. I think that's going to keep Arkansas in a lot of games. Now they had some breakdowns and especially in defense to let Oklahoma State get back into it. They weren't able to contain the Cowboys in the second half, but I really like what I see offensively from Arkansas, and I think they can win some games just because they're going to be able to put up points. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and UAB's defense hasn't been bad so far. I think last week, held ULM under 300 yards. The week before, held Alcorn State to 177 and 3 points. I mean, look, I saw Alcorn State play last weekend at Vanderbilt. Didn't get across midfield, got shut out. So I don't know what you put into that, but just going to be tough for the Blazers really to slow down Arkansas. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I think so too. And if again, what Bryant Vinson, the Louisiana-Monroe coach, used to be offensive coordinator at UAB, and was the interim head coach there, what he did was just pound the ball and pound the ball and pound the ball at UAB, and the defensive front couldn't stop it. And I think that can be the game plan for Arkansas, and I think they're pretty good at that. And so I think that will definitely be an advantage for Arkansas, and I can see them running the ball a lot at UAB to say, hey, stop us if you can, and if they can't, just keep doing it. And I think that's what Arkansas can do is pound the line of scrimmage, make UAB work for it, and earn it. And I think that could be a good game plan for the Hogs.
Yeah, I wanted to do a quick fact check. One of ULM's touchdowns last week was on a pick six, which means that when UAB's offense was on the field last week, it was -1 points, I guess, is one way you can look at it. But under 300 yards last week. Arkansas's defense, I think, has been better. I mean, really, the problem again was with Oklahoma State was not a bad defensive performance. It was just penalties at the wrong time. You got Landon Jackson, one of the better defensive ends in the league. It just feels like, I know Arkansas's bread is buttered on offense, but hadn't seen a lot from UAB last week to indicate to me that they pose a serious threat against Arkansas here.
Yeah, their quarterback, Jacob Zeno, had one of the worst games of his career this past weekend at Louisiana-Monroe. He was 22 of 32 for 167 yards and 2 picks. They do have a couple of guys. Cam Shank's one of those guys who's consistent in catching the ball. 92 yards rushing. Lee Beebe had 62 of the 92 yards rushing. And so, he's a guy that I'm sure will get a lot of touches. But so many penalties against UAB this past weekend as well. I feel like every time UAB was going to get a good play, there was a penalty. And they can't have that in a game like this one with Arkansas. Again, just way too many mistakes for UAB. And I think if Arkansas can expose some of that, it should be a good day for the Razorbacks.
Well, Arkansas was guilty mistakes last week, too. 3
That's
turnovers.
true.
I think one of them was a pick six, 6 penalties, or was it 7 penalties, I guess? I mean, some of them were just at bad times. Look, the defense on the whole gave up 385 yards in Stillwater, which isn't bad. Right. And then on top of that, you consider that was double overtime, 6.8 yards allowed per pass, 2.3 per rush. I mean, UAB last week was just a disaster in the passing game. You would think you'd have to mount a rushing attack to beat these guys. Arkansas really has been pretty good against the rush. Look, I don't bet on football games, but this feels like maybe a place to start. A 24-point spread. How with the way Arkansas is moving the ball, do the Hogs not win by more than that? I can't see it looking at on paper. And I haven't said that. The computer model I've got has got this as I think a 23 or 24 point game. So it's right in line with that. But some of these models haven't adjusted yet to what's happened on the field. And I've watched this offense with my eyes, and I just don't see any way UAB plays with Arkansas in this one.
UAB has not won a road game in several years. I know they haven't under Trent Dilfer in the couple of years he's been there. And so I don't think they start this week either at Arkansas. I think Arkansas wins this one easily, handily, and I think we're still impressed with Arkansas's offense after this game next week.
Now, your challenge if you're Arkansas is you're coming off a letdown on the road, and you got a road trip to Auburn next week you're looking forward to. So you got to make sure you don't look all the way past this one and turn in a clunk of a performance. But I have a feeling the way that the Razorbacks lost last week, Sam Pittman will probably have their attention.
I think so. I think he will. And I think they see that game got away from them. They had it and they got away from him. And I think that will kind of light an energy in Arkansas really for the rest of the year, I think.
Yeah. We'll be previewing all of our SEC on FBS games this week. We've already got several up, got more coming. Best way to get that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That helps our analytics. We do SEC football, baseball, and basketball year-round. I literally do mean year-round. We're still doing baseball stuff here in September and basketball stuff too. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That helps our analytics, and enable your notifications so you know when we've got videos, including a lot of live ones that we do, which we'll do something probably Saturday night after most of the action is complete. Caroline.smith@southeastern14.com if you'd like to advertise, and we do have an audience of millions every year in what we do here. All right, for Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. We are Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.